Testing, testing, 1, 2. It's Beth. Hope my voice sounds okay. I've got a massive cold right now. My head's hurting. I got pain behind one of my eyes. One of my nostrils is completely stuffed. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Pokemon cards. The new set dropped. Team Rocket's Ambition, B4A. Literally dropped on my way into work, literally as I'm punching in. While I was at work, I ripped the packs and I did the separate battles, so I've seen some of these, but not all of them. Let's go through them. It's a mini set, so there's only like 70 something, as usual. We got Volbeats and Illumais. I don't remember if they've been represented before. The Volbeat is kind of interesting. It's kind of like Kartana, a little bit more HP, a little bit less damage. But the Illumais is kind of neat because it checks for the Volbeat. If Volbeat's in your discard pile, this attack does 60 more damage. Um, this card it got very low HP, and that's two energies to put on a card with only 70 HP. Um, so like it's really good to have this um, 90 damage attack with two energies. That's a very easy condition to set up. One thing that's kind of annoying about that though is like you've got to go into your win con. Like you've got to get the Volbeat into your discard pile. How are you supposed to do that? Obviously you could do it with like Vespiquen or something like that. But I think the main way they plan for you to do it is just to let the Volbeat die. So that's 1 point for your opponent, and then once they kill this thing, it's another point for your opponent. So I hope your win con's ready to go when you've already put possibly an energy onto this, and definitely two energies onto this. Kind of an awkward combo, probably just pack filler. We got a new Snivy. It's just a Snivy for gamblers. We already had a Snivy that did 20 damage for two energy or one energy. Probably the original Snivy, which had a bit more health, is the preferred one. I don't know. You could use this one if you wanted to. Art's cute anyway. The Servine, I don't remember the Servine HP for the old one. Um, if it's 90, that one's probably better. Usually Servine's kind of purpose is to sit on the bench, but I guess you could have this as being like if you're using like an attacking Servine kind of thing, which is kind of how they intend you to use this new superior. I was looking at this one earlier. It's quite interesting to me. It's very similar to a Reuniclus we had earlier. It's plus 30 HP for every grass energy attached. And that's only based on your energy, so you can still do things like play Erica or like stuff like that. Unfortunately, the main thing that would make that good is having the other superior on the bench so that each your energy costs counts as double. And if you're getting 60 HP per turn, like increase, plus stuff like Erica, you can possibly just completely out heal your opponent's damage output, and that would actually make this a pretty crazy card. But when you run like a two mon combo normally, you've got like two of one mon and two of the other mon. But if you're running a two mon combo with two superiors, like you've only got one of this one and one of the other one. That's makes it a lot more difficult to get the combo working. That being said, it's still possible with things like what's the one that draws stage two? Is Juliana or like quick grow extract, stuff like that. It would still be possible to choose to kind of get both superiors up reliably. Kind of sounds like a nuisance, but kind of funny. I don't know if anyone's gonna kind of make it work. Amusingly, you pay two energies to retreat, so this thing's HP is gonna drop 60 when it retreats. You got to be really careful for that. The attack is nothing. It's okay. It's good enough. It's annoying that it's as expensive as it is. 60 damage for three energies is terrible. 120 damage for three energies is pretty good, but not the fact that it's random is frustrating. We actually only have five grass cards. That's it. Team Rocket's Magmar. This one's really fun. I didn't know what to make of it when I originally saw it. When I first looked at it in like the Weezing Step Up battle, it was just sitting there, and I saw the 10 plus, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And then I had my what's the thing, Iron Crown out, and it's like turn two. I put my energy and I attack it because I have the Iron Valiant on the bench or whatever, and I hurt this thing. And then the next turn, I die from full HP on turn three because he did like the wheezing thing into the derisive roasting thing. This attack does 50 more damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's 10 normally, which is abysmal. But special conditions are statuses. If your opponent is poisoned, you're doing 60. If your opponent's confused, you're doing 60. If your opponent's burns, you're doing 60. But these all stack. So if they're poisoned and confused, or if they're poisoned and burned, and all that. Um, so you could use it alongside the new Weezing. You could use it alongside Dustox. You could use it alongside Iron Barb or that Typhlosion that brings things from the bench. Stuff like that. You've got a lot of combos here. It's a colorless card, so you could really use it anywhere. And the burst damage is really insane, and it's a nice benchmark too. Um, there's a new supporter that confuses the opponent always, and maybe confuses you. And if you're confused, you only have a 1/2 chance of having your attack work. But because of that, you can use that card. You can attack with this and use that card as early as turn 2. And you've got a 3/4 chance of attacking because you've only got a half chance of confusing yourself. And even if you confuse yourself, you've got a half chance of getting your attack off. And you could always play something like a Big Malasada to heal your confusion, I suppose. Or like have like a benched mon that prevents status. Unfortunately, if the opponent has something that prevents status, this card becomes completely trash. I've noticed there's a few cards like that in the set where like there's a specific card that counters the entire idea. Um, Quite interesting, probably somewhat legitimate, just because 60 damage on turn 2 is quite bonkers, and you can, with the new wheezing that we'll see later, you can stack statuses pretty easily. So there's definitely the potential that you can kind of get this all off, and it doesn't require that many cards, and it can happen from the bench. Um, Moltres, our first of our new EXs. It doesn't look amazing to me. All the EXs of this set have pretty low HP, which I think is kind of interesting, because there was the Dark expansion really early on in Pocket, I mean in Tabletop, and all the cards had kind of really good offensive properties or like tech properties, but then had really low HP. This is technically speaking like relatively standard for this kind of EX, and EX basic having 130 is not super weird. The other Moltres I think had 140. Um, it's all the legendary birds are kind of similar to their other versions, but they're kind of like I don't know, they're similar but different. This one, flip 3 coins. For each heads, produce a fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. So instead of setting up your other monster, setting up this one. The attack is pretty expensive. You discard an energy, but uh, you do 130 damage, which is pretty beefy. Quite a lot of power. Um, Getting the energy requirement is going to be pretty simple. This basically just needs 1 energy to start getting set up, and then you'll probably within like a couple turns be able to attack with it. And then the condition of attacking is not super hard. And if you happen to get spare energies, which is maybe you'll do it, but you'll probably do it with Victini. If you happen to get some spare energies, you'll be able to put energies on the bench too, in addition to uh, being able to attack with this repeatedly. Not only that, but discarding energies is kind of your condition for Flame Patch too. I forget what the stuff at Battle ran with this. It's quite a nice little combo though, I think. Oh, I was running Charizard Y, Mega Charizard Y. That's a lot of energies. That feels a little stiff. Um, 2 retreat cost is annoying. The low HP is annoying. It's kind of better in the early game than the late game. It's not very good if you can't use its energy ramp on itself. Like setting this up on the bench, you actually need to get 4 energies on it. That's going to be very difficult. You might as well do that on a Charizard Y, not on this thing. But in the early game, if you can just get an energy on it right away, um, you can start like rapidly. You could potentially get 130 damage insanely quickly. It looks okay. I don't think it looks that good. I could be completely wrong. Team Rocket's Houndour. What's that in the background? I can't tell. Um, Live Coal, 20 damage. It's just a regular, ordinary Houndour. Team Rocket's Houndoom. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and burned, so you may recognize from that Magmar earlier. If this thing can get damage on the opponent, it's doing 50 damage because of poison and burn damage, and depending on whether they switch out and how their flip goes for their burn, that could be even more. Um, 90 HP is okay, 1 energy is quite good for that damage output. Again, if they have like an Ogerpon on the bench or something like that, this card is just ass. But then the fact that this sets up, it's only 1 retreat, only 1 energy to attack, and it sets up the Magmar for doing 110 damage next turn. Well, it depends on whether they're still burned. But, nice combo there. Very clean, very simple. Fennekin, looking cute. We got Breaksin. It's interesting that it's colorless. They're all colorless. Oh, they're intended for use in a psychic deck. This is my first time looking at these. Um, 30 more damage for each energy. So this is actually the same as Alolan Raichu. Like, just straight up the same. It's the same energy cost, the same ramp, same damage. Um, I mean, that's a good card. That was. I don't know if it's currently a good card. Probably not. New support for the Psychic Trainer anyway, which is kind of fun. I do like Delphox a lot. I don't know what allies you could run with this, but because it's a colorless card, you could really just put it anywhere. The fact that it's fire type is kind of good because you can get the energy requirement really easily thanks to Flame Patch. But I can't imagine running Flame Patch. I guess you would if you're running Delphox, but it's, Flame Patch in a Psychic deck is kind of weird. Quite good, I think. Probably not amazing. Probably just something I'll fuck with. Probably not something that's going to be meta. Team Rocket's Lapras. I saw this one. 40 damage normally, but 80 damage if you have more energy than the opponent. So that's very doable if you just play a Misty and you get some heads. If you just have, like, if you could go second, you can just set this up pretty easily too. It's funny that it's a Lapras, but it's only got a retreat cost of 1. In my head, I feel like Lapras should have a high retreat cost. Looks like a playable card, doesn't look amazing. Team Rocket's Articuno. This one has a detrimental effect. The other Articuno had like the same Ice Wing, but then it did 80 damage plus 10 to the opponent's bench. This does 130 damage, but 20 to your own bench. So having a small bench makes this card better. You also lose some HP. So what people are saying is probably the best way to run this card is just do like Misty plus Team Rocket's Articuno plus 18 trainers, just like you used to run the old Articuno. This one has a higher damage output, but uh, you don't get any kind of like Cyrus pulls and um, you can't. It's very easy to. I guess technically speaking, if you have Soothing Shore um, and energy on the bench Pokemon, you can use Hailstorm and then immediately heal the HP up, so the opponent doesn't have like Cyrus pulls or something like that. So there's some merit there. But yeah, you could run like I don't know, Cape and Starting Plains and or Soothing Shore and Misty and just go all in on an Articuno deck. It's probably decent. Probably will win frequently if you get Misty heads. 130 damage is no joke, just flat out. Good old Wingull. Big fan. Always liked Wingull. Looks like a flying type Wingull technically because it's got the colorless attacks. Very nothing. Honestly, probably just worse than Golduck, and that's a terrible thing to say. The HP is decent. Basculin, Hisuian, and then we got Basculegion or whatever. It's my first time seeing these. The HP is pretty good on this one. And then what do we have here? 50 more damage for each point your opponent's gotten last turn. Oh, that's quite annoying. So this is 150 damage if they just knocked out an EX. That's very doable, you know. But if you don't get the kill right then and right there, this drops to 50 damage, and then it's 50 damage if you use it in the early game or whatever. If I'm being honest, 50 damage on 2 energies is not even the worst thing in the world. If this is like your first mod or something like that. I don't know, but obviously you would prefer to land the 100 or the 150. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. It doesn't look that amazing. Team Rocket's Voltorb. One of the step-up battles uses this thing. It's quite a funny card. I mean, this one's nothing, but this one, it's only 70 HP is abysmal. But if you knock it out, you take 70 damage, and then its attack is just good enough that it kind of puts lights of fire underneath you. 30 damage to a random target. Oh, never mind. It's not random. It says random spark in there, but you actually get to choose. I kept on noticing when I was playing the Step battles, I kept on getting like specific mons they wanted. One of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay. So the Step battle had this with Rocky Helmet, so just merely it's only 70 HP, but merely knocking out this Electrode, you take 90 damage. I think against a non-EX deck, that's not very impressive. I mean, it's kind of good because non-EX Pokemon usually don't have that much HP. But against an EX or a Mega, that's kind of good. Because an EX or a Mega might really hate the idea of taking 90 damage and then, you know, something new coming in and immediately hitting them. Might be able to knock them out. It's like a stall card, I guess, technically. And the opponent might not have a good way around it if they can't attack the bench and get like Cyrus pulls or something. Um, if they have Sabrina, if they have some way, I don't know, Chan Pao, some way of attacking your bench mons, this thing just falls off a cliff. But maybe they won't have that, and then they'll have to actually kill your Electrode, which is going to be a huge nuisance. And this Electrode's not strong or anything, but the fact that it's also a Hitmonlee, underneath all that, it's a Hitmonlee, is kind of good. Um, Team Rocket Zapdos, very low HP on this thing. 120 is almost the lowest EXs even have. Um, the first attack is not very impressive, Electro Ball. Same as Articuno. It's better than not having it anyway. But then this other one, this attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage on it. It sounds like you choose which one. So 90 damage on the target, and then 50 damage on a bench Pokemon that has damage. I haven't really thought about the combos yet. I think this is not the ideal partner for Electrode, although it is nice that Electrode can get some damage on bench Mons, and then the Zapdos can hit them even harder. Um, the energy requirement of this is quite annoying for the power, but the bench attacking, I don't know. What's the easy way? You have a lot of Mons that just do damage to bench Mons in Lightning, I suppose. Stuff like Raikou. What else? A lot of like little Mons, like Pikachu or Shinx. No, not Shinx. Shinx? I don't remember. A lot of random like basics have like the ability to hit the Eevee, I guess, have the ability to hit the bench. I think there's splash damage here and there in Lightning, and Thunderclaw allows you to exploit the splash damage. Unfortunately, this energy requirement really makes you feel like it's going to be a win con kind of card, and that's not win con damage. That's all. I guess you can get it up pretty easily with like Pichu or something. The problem is if they then kill the Pichu, then you lose if the Zapdos dies. So it's all in all, it feels kind of suspect. Doesn't look like a very good card to me, but I could be completely wrong. Blitzel, flip 2 coins, 20 damage per heads. This is like that Snivy we saw earlier. It's cute. Zebstrika, Zepkick 50. We've had a lot of cards like this. We might have even had a Zebstrika like this. Nothing to say about it. It doesn't look amazing. Team Rocket's Pincurchin. Your opponent's Pokemon is now poisoned. Sure, you could run that alongside that Magmar from earlier, I guess. It's interesting having a lightning Pokemon poison the opponent. I don't know if there's any synergy with that at all. Doesn't look good. I mean, it's 30 damage for one energy, but it's kind of like a better 30 damage, unless they have an Ogerpon or something. Team Rocket Slowpoke. Put a random item card from your discard pile into your hand. So Pokeball, I guess, immediately comes to me. Something like Order Pad or whatever, I don't know. What else? What are some items that you would expect to see in there? Um, the Slowbro, the entire idea behind it is that you want to fill out um, your hand because it does more damage for the size of your hand. If you don't know, you probably do, but if you don't know, the hand's caps at 10 cards. So the objective here is to, get 10 cards into your hand, which is obviously like tons of cards, tons of decks are built around that already. Um, Something like this one's the only one that's actively getting damage from it though. Something like a Sylveon EX might be a good ally, you know, just for the draw effect. Anything with a draw effect. Meloetta is what the step up battle uses, and that's a really obvious one because you get a new card every time you use that. But like stuff like Copycat can't be used for a card edge, like unless your opponent just happens to have 10 cards. Stuff like uh what's that? Hiking Trail. Like there's so many cards that kind of give you a lot if you can spend your cards. But getting a lot of cards when you already have a lot is not nearly as easy. But something like Meloetta can do it. One thing that's kind of annoying is that you can't even like play red to increase this thing's damage because like when you play red, it disappears from your hand and lowers your damage by 20. Um, Quite a novel. The fact that it caps at 200 is very good, and two energies to even do like 140 or something like that is actually really good. This thing has a disturbingly fast ramp. I think the step up battle didn't really show off how strong this thing could be in the right deck. It might be a little bricky though, but the fact that it only needs two energies to attack, and one of them's colorless, so you could even run a baby with it. Um, and then it can hit so hard so quickly is quite interesting, and the ability's good too. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may draw a card. Isn't there Skyla? I don't. I guess that would spend a card, so that's maybe not so good. I was gonna say you could spend Skyla. You could do Evil Inspiration and then spend Skyla and then do another one from your other Slowbro, something like that. But you wouldn't end up getting net cards. But you maybe end up getting better cards, and Skyla might be a good thing to run with this anyway. Quite interesting, probably decent. It's one of the nicer looking EXs so far to me. Team Rocket's Drowsy with Mumble looks bad. Team Rocket's Hypno. Um, Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot, do 50 damage to it. What happens if they don't have any bench Pokemon? It says if you do, so that makes it sound like if they have no bench Pokemon, this just does nothing. Um, there is a new item that increases the opponent's retreat cost, so I guess Entrap plus that item would probably be a nice little combo. It looks okay. I don't know. It's probably the best Hypno we've have so far. I don't know. It depends on how much you value that one. They can knock the opponent and put the opponent to sleep from the bench. Team Rocket's Mr. Mime. Slap Push. Ooh, it's like a Psychic type. This is my first time seeing this one, or like reading it rather. It's like a Psychic type Kartana. A Psychic type Farfetch'd. That's good damage output for one energy. I don't know if you would actually bother with this though. You know, invariably it's just more useful to have like something like a Meloetta leading than something like this. Usually getting your card combos off is better than damage. Stop the yawn. Team Rocket's Mewtwo. This is another one of those cards that you can just drop some energies on with your Mega Gardevoir. It's 130 damage, but does 70 damage to itself. I think this one might have been shown off in the trailer. I don't remember. It feels very familiar to read. 130 damage is no joke. That's quite powerful. I mean, it's stronger than Mega Gardevoir. But 70 damage to itself is absolutely brutal. You can technically heal that off with, Diantha if you live, but you're going to have 30 HP or maybe 50 with a cape. So probably you won't live. You'll get your big attack off and then you'll get owned. But that might be okay. That might be all according to plan. Getting into it and out of it with Peculiar Plaza looks very doable anyway, which is good. Esper, my beloved. Look how cute it is. A lot of power anyway. I don't like the 2 energy basics. And then Meowstic, Super Cybolt. It's very mid. Doesn't look good at all. It's a female Meowstic. Oranguru, punch and draw a card. 100 HP is probably not even good enough for this to work. Draw a card is a good effect. Needing to put 2 energies on this just to get the draw a card effect is probably a bit much. Probably not good. It's interesting though. Give me Ghoul. We're going to have a Golden Go that's Metal type. Because this is the last one in Psychic. It's nothing. You can draw it with Lucia, I guess. Cubone with Bone Beatdown. It's cute. I don't even know if we have a Cubone. Oh, this is the Cubone like this. This isn't Rocket's Cubone. This is regular, ordinary Cubone. I guess it's not Rocket's Cubone because the Rockets wronged the Cubone. They killed its mother or whatever. This is the Cubone wanting revenge. Marowak. Is this it? Is this them about to kill it? Punish. If your opponent's active Pokemon has Team Rocket in its name, does 70 more damage. So that's cool. You're like the Spirit Marowak from Gen 1. 50 on 2 energies is okay. It's not great. 120 on 2 energies is great. So you probably can get away with using this set only. Probably never again. Kind of funny card. I don't know. Like, I guess, you can kill Eradicate instantly. That's kind of funny. Probably not great. Eradicate actually is going to steal your energy. Landorus, discard all energy from this Pokemon. We've got another fighting type legendary with just a shitty effect. Like, what are you supposed to do with this? This is my first time looking at this card. This looks abysmal. Do they know how precious fighting energies are? 130 is decent, but like, imagine putting all that energy onto this thing and then what? It's all gone? That sounds terrible. You could put 3 energies onto a Lucario and it can do 140 every turn, and it can also do 90 on 2 energies. Meanwhile, this stupid thing just discards all its energies and just becomes useless. You really need to win on the spot with that Gaia Impact. Like, if you don't win with that, you probably lose. You're spending all this time putting energies onto this. It looks bad. Team Rocket's Ekans. Another kind of high energy. Team Rocket's Arbok. This attack does 10 more damage for each energy on your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So this is with that, like, gunk shot thing. The goo. What's it called? Let's look at it real quick. This thing. Team Rocket's Guzuka. So the end of the opponent's next turn, the opponent's active Pokemon retreat costs us 1 more. I'm just now realizing that this stacks. You could use 2 of these in the same turn to increase their retreat cost by 2. So 10 more damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. 3 energies is really expensive. And you're getting 10 more per energy in the retreat cost? That's nothing. This is going, like, most Mons retreat for 1 energy. So what, this is 80 for 3 energies, which is terrible. And then even with 2, like, Guzukas, it goes up to, like, 100. That sounds really bad. Muting the sniffle. Grimer. It's cute. Sludge. Oh, this is kind of good. This is probably better than any of the other Grimers we have. Unfortunately, it's got a distinct name and thus a distinct evolution. And then Team Rocket's Muck. Poison Absorption. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, heals 60 damage from this Pokemon. That's pretty funny. And it's very easy to set up if you just put a Poison Barb on this or something like that. Probably not amazing. 3 energies is a very tall order. And in the late game, stuff will just be able to one-tap this, so there go your 3 energies. Even with the healing, you'll probably get beat up. In particular matchups, the 3 energies for 80 damage is not great, but when you consider the healing, it's got some merit. But I think it's just too hard to get all the energies on it. The retreat cost is super high. Koga doesn't work with it. Team Rocket's coughing. You really think they would have really tried to make the coughing in the Grimer really good. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. This does seem to be something you would do because this does have merit as a bench mon rather than a leading mon. Team Rocket's Wheezing. Once during your turn, when you play this from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may make the opponent's active Pokemon poisoned and burned. So that's 30 damage, Again, if the opponent has an Ogerpon, then you just look stupid. But then you also have Confusion on your attack. Now, Poison doesn't go away, Confusion doesn't go away. Pokemon Center Lady heals all status ailments, but something like Big Malasada only heals like 1, and I think there's another one that only heals like 1. It'll say like heals a random status ailment, special condition. But unfortunately, like stuff like Comfey or Ogerpon or Pokemon Center Lady actually prevent all of them, so just hard counters this, I guess. We'll see if people are running that stuff. They probably will in this set because there's a lot of status. I originally was like, oh, this is kind of good, So the thing is, this is 2 statuses, which means that Magmar is doing 110 damage, and all you have to do is just evolve a Coughing on the bench, which is an extremely easy condition. And then you've also got the one trainer, the supporter, that makes it so the opponent's confused. So if you get that whole combo off, that's 160 damage on 1 energy from a Magmar. And that's very easy condition, Unfortunately, this is just when you evolve, and it's just a one-time thing. So, the Magmar is terrible. It's useless unless you can get that big combo off. You're just doing like 10 damage. You might not be able to status the opponent at all, kind of thing. So this can be used. This was another card that seems like it would be bad against a no EX deck, but maybe good against like a Mega. But it might not even be that good against a Mega because it targets the opponent's active Pokemon. So like, you've got to actually get their active Pokemon in, which might be difficult if your attackers are Wheezing and Magmar. 160 damage is really good though. And then it itself it's not a horrible attacker. It's not great. 140 HP is okay. 2 retreat cost is not great. But 60 damage on 2 energies with the confusion effect is kind of okay. I mean, it kind of looks like a better version of Miss Maggie CX, I guess, because the ability's so nice. There is synergy with the Magmar. I don't know what other synergies there are. I guess you could use this with Venoshock. Oh, I'm just now realizing how good this is with Venoshock, because you guarantee poison on the opponent from the bench. We had Grafaiai earlier that was only doing it half the time, but this is doing it every time. There's new life to Venoshock decks because of this thing. Team Rocket Sneasel. There is no Weavile. Is it a different type? We didn't see it in water, and it's not in dark, so I guess there just is no Weavile. Group Beatdown. Put a coin for each Pokemon you have in play. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. This is that card that got banned, isn't it? Like, one of the first bans ever in competitive Pokemon cards was a Sneasel that had something like this. It was way more busted in that because the hand is so much bigger in, the bench in tabletop. It was like 20 damage per bench mon, but you could have up to 5 bench mons in that game. Or like, I don't remember if it counted itself. This card, the HP is too low. but the attack sure is kind of strong for each Pokemon you have in play, so it does count itself, so it's up to 4 flips. So that's averaging 60 damage. It's okay. It's not great. Togedemaru, look how happy he is. Peppercoin if heads, this attack does 30 more damage. I feel like we've had that, and I feel like it was a Togedemaru. Is this just the same? Did we have an electric type Togedemaru, and this is just doing the same thing, but now it's a metal type? Is that what's going on here? It feels very familiar to read this effect. 50's pretty good. 20's not great. Togedemaru doesn't evolve, so it's hard to imagine actually using this thing. Qfint. The retreat cost is real high, but you got the heavy helmet. Your HP is really good. It's better than Golett, anyway. Kaparaja. 160 HP is really good. 80 damage for 3 energies is pretty bad. The retreat cost is abysmal. What, you're supposed to just stall with it? Or are you supposed to put energies on it with Earthworm or something like that? Doesn't look good. You don't even have good healing on a stage 1. You know, if you put a Metal Apron or something like that on this thing, I'm sure it's got decent survivability. But it's lacking in power for that cost. Team Rocket's Tinkatink. Lunge out. It's a generic attacker. Team Rocket's Tinkatuff. Corkscrew Punch. I think one of the other Tinkatuffs had that same attack. So I guess this is just, that one. Tinkaton. Pal Driving Hammer during your opponent's next turn. Attacks used by the defending Pokemon cost 2 energies more, and retreat cost is 2 more. This is actually a really absurd effect, and could just hard counter particular mons. Obviously, you've got Wally to kind of attack faster. 140 HP is pretty decent, especially with, like, if you consider the Metal Core Barrier, or the Metal Apron or something. Lily, you've got a decent amount of survivability. But especially with, like, mons that remove energies, like, was the Crawdaunt. There actually seems to be some really good merit here. Because if you have any kind of energy removal at all, even if you don't, this looks okay. But if you have any kind of energy removal at all, you can just lock the opponent out of attacking next turn pretty easily. And you can just attack over and over, doing that every turn. This actually looks like completely playable, if I'm being honest. Interesting. Golden Go. Once during your turn, when you flip any coin for the effect of trainer cards, you may ignore the results and begin flipping those coins again. You can only do this once per turn. So it's like Victini, but for trainers. No, I just pictured Misty. Not Misty. Interesting. Is it good? I'm not sure. What other trainer cards require a flip? Order pad, I guess? There's definitely something to this. I gotta look through the trainers. I can't just pull up all of them on my head. But I often find myself thinking that, where it's like, damn, if only I could like play Will on a another supporter. I guess technically speaking, this works with Team Rocket Grunt. It's a little cursed. Team Rocket Grunt and Misty are both cursed. Gibble, that's some quality art right there. Um, it looks pretty good. It's, hurting yourself is kind of annoying, but 30 damage is quite nice, and it's colorless. Gabite, same energy cost as last time. Water fighting, 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so it's like the Grovyle. That's kind of good, kind of good. And then this one, people have been talking about this one. This is quite insane, actually. This looks like a playable card. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this Pokemon's attacks, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from an effects of damage done to this Pokemon. So most early game cards do not have 120 HP. And so if you can knock out an early game card, this thing then survives next turn. And you could run it with like Soothing Shore or stuff like that just to keep it healthy. To heal it on the turns where it's not getting hurt. Because it's got the Mach Stealth. 120 is really good. And then every knockout preventing all damage. Like if they don't have Sabrina, this actually looks insanely obnoxious. Looks playable to me. You could easily make a deck around this thing. With all the dragon support we got last set, with Dragonair and what's the cave, Rainbow Cave, I think this would actually work, and I think it'll be good. Duraludon with Fighting Metal, I believe that's the same type combination as something we've already had, Haxorus perhaps. Was Haxorus fighting metal? I think we've had a Duraludon, right? But it was like metal type. This one's dragon type. Archaludon. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes minus 30 from attacks. That's quite an expensive price. It's technically possible with Rainbow Cave and Dragonair helping you out, but it is pricey. 140 HP is also really missing the mark. You really want like 150 is where it really starts being good. Um, Minus 30 is kind of nice though because that HP is effectively higher than it looks, but you have to get the attack off in order to benefit from that. And for that cost, you wish it was a little stronger. Doesn't look amazing. Regidrago. If this Pokemon has damage on it, this attack does minus 100. So that attack is very expensive to use. Grass Fire. That's like the apple, right? Hydrapple? Isn't that Grass Fire? I could be wrong. Usually they kind of do it by like the color scheme of the dragon. Um, Interesting. 140 damage is quite good. Okay, let me say that first of all. I don't think this is just garbage right away because that is quite good. I think if this thing is garbage, which it probably is, it's probably the fact that it's a 2 retreat basic. Because if you're forced to leave with this thing, it's just going to be ass. It's going to take damage and then all of a sudden it's useless. And it's going to be hard to switch out of because it's got 2 retreat cost. Um, you really need to run this in a deck with a lot of other cards, a lot of basics, and that's going to be very annoying because you're running it in a grass fire deck. So I think the damage is quite good. The fact that it can even still attack is better than not being able to attack. I'm glad you're still getting 40. Let's put it like that. Still better than what, Ting Lu? What was the one where it couldn't even attack? Um, it looks bad, but it looks like you could maybe make it work if you like if the stars aligned. Team Rocket's Rattata, 20 with a flip for 20 more. The HP is abysmal, and that actually will hurt you. You know, occasionally you'll just face up against a sock or something like that, a Hitmontop, and it'll just one tap you. You'll feel dumb. Or like a Kartana or something, I don't know. There are mons that do 40 damage that exist, you know. Deceptive Needle, Hoopa, something like that. Could really just ruin your day. Team Rocket's Eradicate. This one's quite good. It's quite interesting. The HP is super low, but it steals an energy from the opponent, which is really hilarious. Like, you know, and it's colorless, so it benefits from any energy you steal. It always steals from the active. So the opponent, once they see the Team Rocket's Rattata, they can kind of play around it. They can like choose not to put an energy on their active mon or something like that. But that's not always easy to do. But the thing is, like, this thing can attack immediately. You know, let's say you have the turn 1 Rattata, and then the opponent does their turn 2. Your turn 3, you can put an energy on the Rattata, and then use the ability of this to get your other energy. And that allows this thing to rapidly deploy, because you can get both your energies in one turn very easily. But that only works if the opponent's active mon has a energy on it. So they've got like a baby in the front or something like that, then you can't really exploit that. 70 on 2 energies is okay. It's not really the damage output you would hope for an EX. But that ability is really crazy. It can really set the opponent back. So I think there is merit to this. I think it's... And then another thing about it that's really good is just that it works on any deck. The Step Up Battle kind of does like a... Uh, it uses it with like Team Rocket Grunt and then I think the Crawdonts to kind of try and keep your energy at 0. And I think against some decks that would be very busted, like fighting or whatever. But I ran through it with like what's that thing called? Suicune. And I could go from 0 energies to 2 just by having um, the Baxcalibur give me an energy. So, you know, I could just fuck this thing up with Suicune. So it really just depends on what it's fighting. If it's fighting a deck where the energies are very stiff, like uh, Sceptile, or like, I don't know, maybe Charizard or something, the Lucario, then it's going to shine. It might not shine versus Lucario just because it's weak to fighting. Like this plus Lucario with 2 energies plus like Arena of Antiquity or something like that can just knock this out. It looks okay though. I think there will be a crazy combo with this card. That's the thing. It's just like because it's colorless and because you can just use anything with it. I think that there's some merit to it. I don't know. Mega Beedrill. Team Rocket's Meowth. Very low HP, decent damage. Team Rocket's Persian. This was shown in the trailer and people have really been talking about it. 40 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That is already kind of good. Obviously, there's the possibility they just don't bench anything. You know, what if you just run into the Mega Mawile player and you're doing 10 damage with 2 energies? That's really bad. Um, but if they have Pokemon and choose not to field them, you can play around that because of the Giovanni, whatever it's called, the new supporter. Look at your opponent's hand and play any number of basic Pokemon you find onto your opponent's bench. So if they're choosing not to play basics, you can force them to play the basics. And this is a 2 energies for what? Up to 3 benched Pokemon, so 130 damage. It's like an Altaria, basically. Just does more damage based on your opponent's. The problem is Altaria is in your control, and this is not in your control. It's in your control a little bit because of the Giovanni card. Boss's Plan or whatever. What is it actually called? Team Rocket's Boss. Um, but if they actually have a deck where they just don't have that many basics, then that could totally fall flat. Or if they don't have that many cards in hand or whatever. The damage output is really good, but the situation is a little bit double-edged, that's all. Team Rocket's Kecleon allows you to spy on your opponent's hand, which is pretty funny. I noticed that the Calm was using this card in like the lower tiers, and it wasn't bothering to use the ability, which is really hilarious. I don't know, it was just the board state, or if it just never uses the ability. I mean, obviously the computer can always read your cards. Um, I don't know what to think of this. 70 HP is bad. It won't evolve. No, it's good for. I mean, it's not good, but like it's better than 60 anyway. Flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage from. Oh, it's kind of good. You can run that with Will. It's not that good. It's gonna be hard to get 2 energies onto this, and then like playing your Wills on this instead of any other thing that can use Will. Feels a little silly. That's all. Happini. I actually like this card. I think this is probably a playable baby. We got a new one. 30 HP. You think Happini would have a little more, but whatever. 10 damage, and then for all subsequent attacks, you do plus 20. Rather, for the next attack after a chubby cheer. So one thing that's really hilarious is you can do that on turn 1, and then on turn 3, your Happini will be doing 30 damage, which is enough to knock out a baby. So it 1v1s other babies, which is pretty funny. Um, but then also, once they knock this out, whatever comes in, it's very similar to the Oricorio. We had the Fire Oricorio that powered up the next card by 20, but that one required an energy, and this one doesn't. So, like, you could just stick this any deck that's a little shy of basics. The one thing is whatever comes in needs to be able to attack reliably. If you're just coming in and you're not ready to attack instantly, then you just lose the. It's like this did nothing. I think there's merit to this too, though. I think you could just slot this into a deck that needs more basics, and it would make the deck better. Furfru, we got another one. This one's very cursed. It's a continuous steps one. So Eevee had continuous steps, now this one does, but the damage is actually higher. It's 30 per heads. So, terrifying, basically. Flip a coin until you get tails, 30 damage per head. So, probably you'll usually get 1 or 0, but it's possible for you to get 2 or 3 or 4. And that is catastrophic for your opponent if you get it. Probably okay. If you're gonna kill a baby, you'd probably rather have the one that has bite or whatever that just does 30 always. But against most other targets, continuous steps is nice just because of the chaos factor. The possibility that you get like a huge hit. Lechonk, what, is drinking or is just looking at itself? It's cute. Remember the puddles in Emerald and you'd be able to see like the reflection? That was so simple, but it felt so revolutionary. I don't know. Cute. One cologne. Flip a coin if it has 60 more damage. That's pretty good. I don't know if you'd bother with Will just for something like that. Honestly, it's hard to justify this thing. Team Rocket's Thieving Machine. Put a random item card, except any Team Rocket's Thieving Machine from your opponent's discard pile into your hand. It's funny that it can't steal itself. Obviously, Pokeballs would be a very nice thing to steal from your opponent. Um, Rare Candy is a possibility. I guess you could put this into a Rare Candy deck, but Rare Candy deck's usually a lot more strapped for space. Most other items are not going to be helping you that much. Quick Grow Extract, if it's there, it won't help you at all. It's funny that you get it into your hand, so like you can actually get. It feels so weird having like a fire deck or something like that, and you've got a Quick Grow Extract from your opponent, and you're just holding on to it. It feels like they could have made it so it's used instantly. This would be a really funny card in tabletop if like people got like confused on whose cards were whose or something like that. Um, Probably okay. It's like having a. You don't prevent the opponent from using the item or anything like that. So it's not going to be as reliable as a Pokeball, but it's like a third Pokeball if your opponent got a Pokeball. Of course, there's a failure chance just by your opponent never playing an item or you grabbing the wrong item from them. Like, what are you supposed to do if you're fighting against a Rotom and they just have like a gazillion items in there? You just happen to draw a red card or something like that. Team Rocket's Guzuka, we looked at this one earlier. It increases the opponent's retreat cost. Let's go and revisit Whimsicott decks, right? Was it Whimsicott? It does damage based on the opponent's retreat. Whimsicott plus Aridos, right? And then the Team Rocket's Guzuka. Why not? That sounds fun. I'm gonna go make that deck. Um, Generally okay. It's good with Sabrina, I guess. It's probably not going to be super good if you don't build the deck around it. But there are cards that benefit from this. Team Rocket's Researcher. I didn't read this one until just a minute ago. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, put a random Pokemon that's Team Rocket and its name from your deck into your hand. So that potentially lets you have a lot of cards immediately. If you're running a Team Rocket deck with a lot of Team Rocket cards, you probably would play this, I guess, just to have a big card advantage potentially. Um, it's okay. And then Golden Go works with this, so that's kind of big. Team Rocket's Master Plan. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused with a coin. I guess this can also be rerolled if you have Golden Go on the bench. Um, so you'll always confuse the opponent, and you might confuse yourself. There's all those psychic cards that kind of played around confusion, so maybe they're worth revisiting. I doubt it, but the fact that you can confuse with a card that you play is kind of interesting. And there's the Comfey support that you won't confuse yourself if you have the bench Comfey. So something to this for psychic decks maybe, and there's something to it for the Magmar stuff. Maybe elsewhere. It's got some utility. Team Rocket's Boss. I was thinking of like cards that work well with this. I pictured Pidgeot EX. Suicune is a very obvious one. If you can force the opponent to play down a bunch of basics, that increases your damage. Maybe Haxorus would be interesting. Haxorus also does damage based on the opponent's bench size. Anything like that where you get bonus damage if the opponent's got more cards. And also it's really good for like Victory Bell, I guess, something that could like pull in the opponent's specific cards. I don't know. There's some merit to it on particular decks. It's interesting. And then our last card for the set is Arcade. It's in a stadium, so both players can use it. You flip 3 coins, and if all of them are heads, you draw until you have 7. Draw until you have 7 was like the Professor Oak effect. It's funny reading it in Pocket. Alright, let's look at our full arts. Delphox, perhaps casting a spell. Just me leaning forward. Hold on. I guess. I like Delphox a lot. It's one of my favorite starters. Hypno, looking a little eerie. I guess the art itself is quite cool. This is like this is the last thing you see, and then you wake up in a tub, ice tub, with a scar on your side. It's cute. Why is Tinkaton so cute? I found out this thing was the most popular Gen 9 mon, and I was not surprised at all. Just looking at it, it's great. It's like a little Kirby enemy. There's Zapdos in the sky. That's cool. Um, Kecleon stealing documents, I guess. It's funny that it's doing it and it's visible, but I guess we have to be able to see it. But like that thing can turn invisible. I guess he just thought he was alone. I don't know. He probably doesn't even know what he's doing. He can't read. Happiny sleeping with its little oval stone or whatever that item is called. Got the Premier Ball, but it's like a toy Premier Ball Got some tulips. Got some yarn. The egg. That's nice. The egg pellet. That's really cute. Makes me wish I had a house hippie. Um, nice. Lechonk. It's drooling. It's looking at what might be berries. Look at the mushrooms and the whatever. It looks quite nice. Cool looking autumn forest. We got the R's in the background of these, which is kind of cool. Every single one of it's Team Rocket for every single EX. That looks great with the color scheme. That looks great with the same color scheme. That looks great with the same color scheme. They're all just a red background with the R. And it looks really good for all of them, so I'm not even being critical or anything. This is some of the best 2 stars we've had, I feel. All these cards look good. Oh, and Researcher as well. Who is this? Is this that girl? I don't think this is a real character. There was like a redheaded Team Rocket member in Gen 2, but I don't think this is her. I find it interesting that, like, I don't know, green hair is such a weird call. I feel like the Team Rocket grunts feel very realistic compared to a lot of the later stuff like Team Plasma or Team Galactic or whatever. They feel like good and proper crooks. And seeing the green hair just makes them so much more anime. I feel like the realism just completely falls off once you see the green hair. It's interesting that this is their like canonical design. I mean, I guess these ones just happen to have green hair. They certainly do weird hair colors in the Pokemon universe. Played by Fire Emblem rules. Speaking of realistic, Giovanni. Looking pretty good. They couldn't call him Giovanni because Giovanni's already a card that does something completely different, so he's just Team Rocket's boss. I don't think Team Rocket even had a boss in Gen 2, and those are the only gens that really deal with Team Rocket, right? Moltres with like a fiery area around it. Was it standing on like a water tower kind of thing? This looks like where Kakyoin died. Spoilers, Kakyoin dies. Okay. Oh, what is that? Is that a grave? This also looks like a city or something. I don't know what it's standing on. There's probably significance to whatever these things are, but I don't know what they are. Um, Damn, that looks cool though. I like that we've got the theming matching for all these, and they're all facing in different directions too. That's great. Beautiful. There's probably some kind of thing you get for getting all 3 of them. I actually have this one. I wonder picked it. I had an opportunity to wonder pick this, and I missed it, and I was sad. But I did get this one. Whenever people are ripping a shitload of packs right in the first day, there's always like a lot of 2 stars floating around if you hang around and open up the wonder picks frequently. I've already had 2 chances. Slowking is kind of ugly. Now I'm actually looking at it. Looks like a cartoon character with his funny mouth. I mean, I guess it is a cartoon character. The wheezing is great. This looks like a regular full art. This doesn't look like a Rainbow Bridge. I don't know, something about it. The art is too cutesy. It's not high quality enough. He's stinky. Whoa. I can't look at that one. Please try again later. Alright, you guys will just have to pretend you can see the Raticate, and I'll have to pretend I can see the Raticate. The thumbnail at the bottom is working, and it looks like he's running away with like a cherry or something. I don't know. How big is Raticate? Or an apple. Just holding onto some kind of fruit in its mouth. Team Rocket's master plan, that's the immersive. I didn't know what the immersive was until right now. What are they? Are they copping a feel? Oh, no. Okay, they're holding their own hips. I thought their arms were going past each other. I thought they were grabbing each other's asses. Damn. I was like, holy shit. But it's good looking, I guess. I kind of do like the Rocket Grunts. I originally didn't like them once I found out they had green hair. And then I kind of come around to it, I guess. It's like silly in an okay way. Just making them look a little bit more harmless somehow. Green makes them look harmless. Shinies, that's a regular Vulpix. That's not a shiny. They're just making shit up. I find it interesting that the shiny Ninetales is the Nine Flips one. Because I'd much rather have the other one, for the shiny. Are there any cards that have had, like, multiple shinies? I'm not counting, like, EXs or whatever. Like, is there, like, a regular shiny Ninetales and then another regular shiny Ninetales? I don't know. I haven't been following that at all. I don't consider the shinies very often. That looks like a regular Goldeen. And that looks like a regular Seaking. I actually have this one. Um, Toxel, this nasty little diaper. Sinistea and Poltegeist. I would not identify them as shiny. I guess it's the teapot is pink or something. 'Cause isn't it normally this kind of purple color for the creature itself? Mawile. Like Cavernous Chomp, it's the Cavernous Chomp one. I said like of all the ones to get a shiny, why that one? I mean, all of them are bad. Look at the smile though; it's so cute. It's funny because the Pokedex entries for Mawile always mention that it's like hiding its body and it like turns its back to everyone at all times or whatever, and then you get card art like this where it's just like, hey, look at me, Talo. Who asked for this? Shiny Talo. That's a good shiny actually though. It looks very distinct. I don't remember this card for shit. Once during your turn, you may switch your opponent's active basic Pokemon to the bench. Huh? This is just Sabrina, right? Isn't this just what Pidgeot was doing? I didn't realize Swellow was just Pidgeot, but like a stage 1 instead of a stage 2. What the fuck? That's crazy. I don't remember this card at all. What expansion was it? I have this. I got it in my day 1 haul. Mega Charizard Y. There's no Charizard X in here. Just Y. Good looking card. I think it's supposed to be black, but you can't really tell from this art. Looks like purple. Toxtricity. Sure. I'm sure there's at least one person that wanted this. Mimikyu. It doesn't really look shiny. Just looks like a regular Mimikyu, but in the shade. Um, okay. And then Mega Mawile. Another okay. It's cute anyway. And then our gold rares, our Goldigo, which is very appropriate. And the freaking Guzuka. I like that they were doing this with the golds. I've always been a fan of that, where we have like a utility mod that's interesting, and then like an item card that's interesting, and they're the golds instead of like, just the mascot of the set. The set doesn't really have a mascot anyway. The mascot of the set is Team Rocket, whatever. Which one is the immersive? It's Master Plan. It's the one that confuses. Is that card supposed to be good? Is it just good in general? I don't know. I mean, that is being confused is really annoying. Having to attack and the potential for missing can really screw you up, and retreating can really screw you up too. But we're just in this era where everyone's running all this like, status carrying and all that. It feels like people are really going to come back to Pokemon Center Lady because there's so much status in the current set. There's some interesting potential for combos here. People are going to explore it. We'll get to see what they come up with. I kind of said all the stuff I could think to say offhand, so we'll see what other people can come up with or what I can come up with later on, you know. But the set itself is kind of fun. Let me think of the EXs real quick. Let's look at the cool ones. These 2 stars. Could this be meta? Probably not. I feel like there's too much possibility that you just have to keep on putting energies onto this, and it's going to affect your ability to like put energies on benchmons. But if you get good heads, which is very possible with Victini, you might be able to rapidly win games by getting to 130 damage just really quickly. Even if this is just attacking over and over, that's like a win condition, you know? And there's also the possibility that if you lead with something else, you can get into it just by switching out to something else, paying the retreat cost, and then flame patching the energy onto this, and then being able to heat charge right away. So getting out into this is going to be easier just because it's fire type. This looks kind of bad. I don't know, 130 is still a lot. This going second looks like it's going to be really obnoxious. I don't know if you really would run it with Golden Go and Misty. I think Golden Go would be bad because you'd hit yourself. Misty, though, probably good. Zapdos looks too expensive for what you get. This one, probably not meta. This one, maybe. This one, probably not. I could be completely wrong. This one looks like it could be. This one looks like it could be. And this one looks like it could be. This one just looks really obnoxious depending on what kind of deck it's in. You know? If you're running this alongside, like, Alolan Ninetales EX or something like that, that just looks supremely annoying. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.